today we have an NA carry game played by Lakenator. So we're gonna see Kira in action, and as usual we're gonna start with the build. In terms of abilities, at level 1 we can see that we use the Mercy. I think it can be good like in terms of poking, also to help you secure some last hit if sometimes you make a mistake in the rotation of your auto attack. Then we get the Dusk to get like a maximum amount of damage, and then we get the Shadow Glide, the dash to be able like to space yourself. And then interestingly we're gonna start like maxing the Dusk, which is like the first ability's priority after the ultimate. And I know that a lot of players kind of prefer to max the Mercy, but if you want to have the maximum DPS into the early fights, actually the Dusk is the better option. Then of course we're gonna max the Mercy, and then we finish with the Shadow Glide for like the running up the build. In terms of items, kind of interesting because like Kira is a character that benefits a lot from crit chance, but the power of on it is way too strong, so we go for Stormbreaker first into Sky Splitter, but then we kind of transition into crit with the Lightning Oak, so that gives you like a first auto attack, very powerful. And then interestingly the Terminus, which is a good item for Kira because our basic attack lifesteal, but also Mercy has the ability to lifesteal, and also Purge the ultimate has the ability to lifesteal. In terms of crest, we decided to go for Pacifier. Usually you go Pacifier or Liberator depending on what you need to stay alive or be more aggressive, and here we decided to opt for the Pacifier. Let's jump into the game. So Lakenator, NA game, one of the top carry in the NA scene, winner of the previous PCC. Gonna play like here on his main role as Kira, and he's facing in lane Sparrow plus Decker, which is a lane that can like poke quite a lot and that have like pretty good pushing power, but he's playing with a Muriel, so we should like be pretty able to fight and see if there is opportunity. As you can see here, he keep like focusing on auto attacking the wave. As soon as the LFRO falls, he try to walk behind the pillar. The idea is to limit the angle for the Decker to be able to hit him with the Stasis Bomb or the beam, and as you can see, managed to dodge the Stasis Bomb. And now that like the wave is pressuring, so the carry is probably gonna like fall back because he want to get his last hit. Lakenator took advantage of that little window to go for a pretty good poke onto Snuggles on the Decker, and that way like we can actually like get also maybe trying to fight for the level 2. Normally against Decker Sparrow it's gonna be like kind of rough, but here they're probably gonna be able to get the level 2 at the same time. And the level 2 of like Muriel plus Kira is actually like super strong, and they're gonna try to take the fight here. As you can see, a lot of damage has been dealt. We did get the Dusk at the level 2, and that's like a first blood. So here a little mistakes on the enemy side, but I feel like currently on the game not a lot of people really like pay attention to those things. Level 2 of Kira plus Muriel is just stronger than the level 2 of Decker plus Sparrow, and so they're gonna take advantage of that, apply a lot of pressure. Here we try to go onto the Decker like overstep a little bit when she's in the 1v2 scenario, and we get already a lot of amount of damage. So here like I see a lot of people that normally like go for the gold buff on that timing, but no, like you should crash the wave first. But of course you need to be careful because the Sparrow is going to come back, so you first need like to kind of play that smart because you still have like less resources overall. But now we're gonna get the level 3. The Sparrow is still like around, and now we have like a full wave, so that means that the Decker can't really help, and we're gonna be aggressive here. We also know that the Sparrow doesn't have flash because we killed the Sparrow previously, and we're gonna fully punish that Sparrow with a full wave going under tower. And here at that point like the Sparrow is completely out of the game. She decided to take the fight at the level 2 when she couldn't, and here she come back when a big wave was going to crash on the tower. And so once again the Sparrow is dead. There is no pressure on getting the gold buff. To be fair, taking that wave or not taking that wave is not really like both options are correct, but here, because here we're gonna get like a natural reset in the mid lane, which means that now the gold buff is going to be a little bit hard to get, where you could have gone for a gold buff and go for a reset. As we can see here, the Muriel is going for the gold buff. Lake is not really interested by it because it's cannon wave and doesn't want to lose like his small minion. But probably I would have preferred to go for gold buff initially and then go for the reset, because here we see we're losing a little bit of time. We even get the reset. The Muriel took a lot of damage, makes the game a little bit more complicated to play. But since like the Sparrow is kind of out of the game, it's not that big of a deal. And here we're gonna keep the farming. probably here, since we're not like super healthy on mana and Lakenator decided to stay and didn't take his reset, that means he's not gonna have like any good reset until like the end. And here you can see he's getting aggressed upon. Here this cage of the Decker is actually like very low value, because you can see like Lakenator got blocked for like maybe like 0.4 of a second. This is something you have to do as a Decker cage, is to place your cage like not with the enemy in the center of it, but actually on the limit of the cage, so you actually block the movement more. And so here we get like the wave that is frozen in front of tower. Lakenator is not really looking for a fight in that situation, and so he's gonna keep like the wave like around very close to it. And probably since now he has stayed for so long, he's gonna try to keep like to get like a very powerful back, with maybe finishing his first item on the first back. And here, since like the Decker keep like hard shoving the wave with the beam and everything, like Lakenator is fully fine to just keep this wave just in front of his tower, so there is like absolutely no risk for him, and he's like free to farm like every single last hit to his heart's content. And so we get like a full level ahead, and we're gonna get like here probably looking at maybe crashing the wave with the next wave. Here we can see like Cannon is the last one alive. We keep like spamming abilities, so that means that abilities has been used, so that's why like Lakenator try to step forward. Since there is no Halo of Pharaoh, you are no free like to kind of use the dash aggressively. And that's like what Lakenator is trying to look for. And so this is where you have to be careful when you play dual lane on how you use your ability, because when your ability are on cooldown, then you can get punished hard afterwards. And here we see that he's spamming like all his ability as fast as he can. That's probably tell me that he wants to reset. And as you can see here, he's gonna go for a reset in the middle of the lane. That's something that normally the Decker can stop pretty easily, but it seems that Lakenator is already in their head. And you can see like first back 6 minutes 30, we already get the Stormbreaker, which is pretty strong. Muriel should have been careful, like she was in a 1v2 scenario, so need to respect that. But in the end, it's gonna be like a bait with the rotation of the Howitzer going into that thing. So we're gonna skip the wave, try to follow up immediately here. We're gonna get the dash plus the ultimate, the Dusk, and that's a double kill being secured thanks to the rotation of the Howitzer. So overall, we can also see there's probably like a big difference in terms of levels when it comes to like this dual lane, simply because there is a lot of like fundamentals that are not correctly applied by the enemy teams. But to be honest, like I felt like that only people that actually fully apply fundamentals somewhat correctly currently in Predecessor is kind of like the top of the pack. And if you're not like a top 1%er, like suddenly fundamentals like drop down super fast. And I think it can maybe comes down to the fact that it's a shooter for a lot of people, and they don't realize like how important like the basic fundamentals of MOBA are important to be able to perform at the top level on Predecessor. So here we try like to be aggressive on the Gideon, but we miss like many 2 auto attack, and so we try to disengage as fast as we can. But that's gonna be like the aura going in plus the Gideon ultimate, and that's gonna be the death. So a little shutdown being secured by the enemy team. And so here I guess it's like a little bit ambitious to try to go for that 1v1. Still, you finish the Stormbreaker, so you feel like you're strong, but Stormbreaker, until it gets stacked, it's like actual decent damage, but it's not crazy damage compared to the damage a Gideon can do in the early game. And also, like, so in the end, we get Lakenator dying. We're gonna see that during this match, he tried to limit test as much as he can, since he feels like that probably is one of the strongest player in that lobby, which is, to be fair, probably accurate. He's gonna try like to pressure as much and try to get away with as much as he can, because also you have to find your own way to practice, and sometimes like just limit testing is a good approach if you feel like you can afford it. And so here we still like are pretty ahead. We're gonna try like to get like as much pressure as we can. I don't know where is the Spore. The Spore is coming back from base, so we're gonna get like some damage on the tower with the wave being crashed. And we can see that the tower is gonna like become like very slow, but we don't rush, like no need to force it fully. Like here we can just wait for the next wave and maybe we get like a better opportunity. No need to take like some tower shot that would force you to go back to base. Here you can see they try to step up to be aggressive. Lakenator, even if the tower is low, it doesn't tunnel vision on the tower, and in the end he allow himself to not take any damage while putting the enemy decker at 40% HP, and he still secure the tower by in the end. So this is also something that I think is important, is like don't overcommit for things when you don't need to. Here, like taking the tower right now or in the next wave or even the wave after doesn't really change anything. So just like take it slow and at some point you will get there. So now that we got the tower, we shove the wave in and we're gonna go for the rotation on the Fangtooth to help the teammate that he's like walking towards, and that's gonna be a free Fangtooth for his team. Once again, I feel like every time I show one of those Grandmaster gameplay, like it's nothing too fancy most of the time. It's just like good application of the fundamentals. We have seen in lane, he understands that he can be stronger. So here we have like, we go around this decker, don't really respect it. The jump is not correct. We should probably use the jump to go on top of the ledge. And so now we can like full on like run it, and here we get like a flash plus ultimate to try to dodge. As soon as the Sparrow use the flash, we're gonna like stop our ultimate to not get slowed anymore and try to chase that Sparrow. Very good reaction. So here it's a little bit like more advanced in a sense. We see that the Sparrow ultimate, so we flash in the back of the Sparrow to try to limit the amount of damage he's doing while using the ultimate on top, so that way we get like more DPS. Here we're gonna like fight into the Gideon. We do have to be careful though, because like the Gideon, like we said, can dish out a lot of damage. Gonna try to get as much damage as we can, but here we have to be careful. We don't have any mana, so we probably need to disengage because the Sparrow and the Decker are coming back. So probably we're gonna get like here for the gold buff a reset, because I think we have enough to get the Sky Splitter plus the crest, which is gonna be like a very huge power spike. And like I was saying, like I feel like when I review like those Grandmaster game, there is nothing like really like too special about that besides like good fundamentals. We see like level 2, understanding that we have the stronger dual lane, so we go for the aggression. Also we see like the early poke on the Decker as soon as like the wave is pushed and the Sparrow is not there. Like one thing that they are good is like to take advantage of the mistake of their opponent while not making really mistake by themselves. And then we see like it's just about like shoving wave like efficiently, get a good power back, and then keep like the pressure on while they can. Here, Lakenator is an absolute monster. Stormbreaker plus Sky Splitter is an insane power spike, and we also have the pacifier, and I can guarantee you that this Sparrow is super far away from like her crest and our second item. So we have like a much stronger DPS. And so we're gonna try to like probably use that to their advantage. As you can see, Lakenator positioning himself very aggressively. Probably have to be careful because that can warrant like a rotation from the jungler. We can see that the Aurora is hovering on the minimap and it's gonna be here. But here we're just gonna dash away, and here we're not really scared like to fight that. You can see like or to attack, that's a lot of damage, and this is where we were talking about like the limit testing. We're gonna use the ultimate. We're gonna like dash to try to create some space, and we're gonna try to get like, if we can get away with this 2v3. Every time like here the aura is coming, we're gonna like jump aggressively, gonna try to find something. Have to be careful of the stun, and here Lakenator doesn't dodge the stun, and so that's probably gonna be his demise. So I think it was actually okay to take this 2v3, but I feel like Lakenator was walking a little bit too in a straight line against a Decker that have Stasis Bomb up. So it's gonna end up like them losing the 2v3 and offering like some damage. But I feel like here it's more a decision, like I was saying, of limit testing. Probably if he play normally, super efficient, never like take any risk, it's probably gonna be like a free game for him. So he just want to get like a little bit of practice out of it, and that's why like he tried to take this 2v3, because it was winnable if he played like slightly better. Little thing to mention on that Howitzer. Here the Howitzer go for slow grenade, rocket into landmine. Well, the actual combo when you go for a gank is probably landmine into slow grenade into rocket. If he had done that, it was probably a kill. So use your ability in the correct order, that will increase your chance of securing some kills. So that kind of offer a little bit like of a time and tempo back for the Sparrow to maybe like catch up a little bit to Lakenator with that death and double kill that has been secured. So this is something that they do have to be careful. Here you can see come back to the lane. There is like a huge fight going on the right side of the map, but the time it would take to rotate would be a little bit too much. So Lakenator decided to stay into that dual lane and apply pressure and keep like getting the farm. Sometimes, like, if you made a mistake of, like, not rotating towards, like, your team when the fight was going to happen and you take, like, because you didn't read the map correctly, well, if you're already, like, too far away, like, sometimes just try to get something else on the map. Sometimes you can still go for the rotation, but if you go for the rotation and you arrive after the fight has actually concluded, you just lose a lot of time and didn't get anything, and it's the worst things possible. Here you can see we decided to keep like in the lane, so we secure like 3 wave plus a gold buff, and we maybe got even like a tower. Here we're gonna look like to if we can get some aggression. We're gonna use the ultimate because probably the Muriel was calling ultimate is ready, and we're gonna take advantage of that information to turn the things around. And in the end, by not rotating to the fight, we secure a tier 2 tower. Here we're gonna use a pacifier, very aggressive. We suppose that we have like more damage than the opponent and we're gonna secure the kill, but then we have the Fang Mao like shutting down. And here you can see really like this limit testing approach that Lakenator is applying in that game. In the end, it didn't really work out. To be fair, dashing aggressively into a Sparrow that have ultimate up is pretty ambitious. But we see that he used like his dash, flash, all those things to try to stay alive as long as he can, trying to dodge as many shots of the Sparrow as he can. In the end, I feel like he missed like a couple of auto attack that was needed to kill the Sparrow fast enough so he get like actually a chance, but it was like still like pretty good. So we're gonna finish like the lightning oak now. So we have like this first auto attack is gonna hurt so much because we get the lightning oak damage, the double sky splitter damage plus the stormbreaker damage. So that's like the first auto attack is gonna chunk people. And here I love the positioning of Lakenator. You can see he was like focused on the aura initially because that was the target, but as soon as the aura was low, I would have seen like so many people just like walk towards to get like the chase. But here, Lakenator understands that if he steps forwards through the fog wall, he's gonna get like collapsed by the Decker and the Sparrow. So he turned his attention towards the Sparrow immediately, get the kill on the Sparrow, and then he can keep the chase. Like, it's important that you don't get sandwiched when you're chasing someone, because otherwise you just get 3 DPS and on you, and that's not good as a carry. So very good awareness here by Lakenator, understanding where his placement should be in every single skirmishes and teamfight. This is one of the big strengths of Lakenator, probably one of the best carry when it comes to teamfight, and here it kind of shows because like positioning was stellar, they don't take any risk, and we ended up like securing 2 kills for his team while forcing the aura back to base. And here we take advantage of the fact that we're like so big that you can see he can afford to just dash forward because he got the 3 item power spike while the Sparrow still doesn't have it, and he just like delayed the Sparrow. Also because like we said, like this first auto attack is already like putting probably the Sparrow at half HP. So on the other side of the map, the enemy team is still like doing some good stuff because they secure the mini prime, and here we're gonna be aggressive. First auto attack, we tried like to dodge the stasis bomb. Gonna try to play like as much as we can, but probably this Decker is out with the rocket boots passive, and we keep like applying pressure. Like we're a carry, we're not really scared. We think we can take any 1v2s, probably 1v3 start to be like a little bit like scary. But Lakenator is really in the limit testing mood. Gonna try to jump, gonna try to dash. Well, there is an elevation here, Lakenator, so you cannot like the dash doesn't give you like any height. It's not a rocket dash like it is for Twin Blast. And so here we're gonna steal the 5 camp and probably gonna go for the reset. We have 2400 gold, not gonna be enough to finish an item, so that's probably like why Lakenator here is canceling his back. He kind of want to finish his item. But here, it doesn't really have vision, it doesn't see anyone on the map. You can see like the Aura, the Feng Mao, the Gideon, they were all in the jungle at that moment. So that's why like he played passive and decided to not like step forward. Like true, you are limit testing, but it's not also a reason to just like play without thinking at all and just offering free kill for the enemy team. Now we should have enough to finish the item, so that's the terminus that is being completed. And here we see also another thing that Lakenator does well. He was going for the back, but since he realized that he needs just one more wave to get his item, he's gonna wait for it, and now the power spike is much better. Otherwise he would have been stuck with the item for a long time, but here he stepped forward a little bit too much. Doesn't realize that there is like so many people on the right side. We have no wards, and that's gonna be him like being dead immediately. That's a little bit rough because that's like the strongest character on the side of the Dawn team, and that's gonna be like already someone dead. We already have like 3 people dead, but in the end it's probably gonna be like a 3-4-3. So not the end of the world. We also get the Decker, so the team fight ended up being to the advantage of the Dawn team, but here that was a pretty big mistake by the side of Lakenator to kind of frontline as a carry. Even if you're super strong, you cannot frontline as a carry in teamfight because, well, you're gonna get exploded even if you're super far ahead. Because 1 CC and you're probably dead. And that's what happened here. On top of that, they have Aura, they have the Fang mode, they have Spore damage, like they have enough damage to just like kill you, as we have seen. So probably need to position slightly better next time. But still, like the team wins the team fight, so that's gonna be the triple Fangtooth being secured. We'll rotate towards it to offer our DPS to clear it in a timely manner, and we even ignore the wave, so that's something that is kind of important to do sometimes. Here Lakenator trying to find some angles that you can use this dash to jump up. Also, like when you're that far ahead, you can also like afford to just test like a few things like that, because if you don't try it like in casual game, like in pub game, solo queue, like when are you going to try those things, to be honest? So in a sense, all of that is practice for the future ranked that is going to come this weekend. And so here we're still like pretty strong. I feel like we're like we can see like we're 2 level up on the enemy carry, 3 level up on the enemy support. But here we probably get like, we don't want to step forward. We're gonna get like the ultimate from the Aura trying to go in, but the damage of the Aura is not big enough. Oh, we're gonna dash in. We have to switch targets. We're gonna get like the Sparrow, we're gonna try to survive as long as we can. We get some good damage, flash away to try to get away. The Fang Mao probably gonna get the Reaping Dash, and that's gonna be a kill. So here this time, unfortunately, we didn't like realize fast enough that the Sparrow was going to turn on him, and he gets surprised, I guess, by the Sparrow damage. In the end, we still secure 2 kills, but it wasn't enough, and that's like not a super good trade. But once again, trying as much as he can to limit test, to like maximize his efficiency and his practice. That could have been close. That could have been close. But in the end, it didn't really work out. And you can see in those fights, it's all about like positioning yourself to not be able to be DPS by multiple people while being able to DPS the target that is in front of you. Here we can see like it's a slight step up from like Lakenator that ended up being his demise. You really have to play to that perfect positioning that you let only the person you're attacking you back to you. And even if it's a melee, maybe you can even like attack someone while never being in range to be attacked, while guaranteeing that you get your most damage possible on that target, but really with always like playing to that limit of your like range. And that's something that is very important to do as a carry. So here we're gonna like keep scaling up, get like all the farm. The team is like kind of fighting very deep into the enemy jungle. It's a little bit too deep, but it seems that it's working kind of nicely. So now we're gonna like try to get there. We're gonna get like a 1-for-1 trade so far, but now we know that most of our resources should have been expanded. The Gideon tried to counter engage with the ultimate, but we're gonna get like a lot of damage, and now we reached the point that enemy opponent getting like absolutely exploded by this Kira. And so here you can see like Lakenator trying like a more frontline positioning, and he finally find like a good angle to be able to use his dash. But yeah, like I was saying, like I said, like you shouldn't frontline as a carry, but here like Lakenator took like a frontline position, but it's because he arrived after the most of the fight has been gone. Like while he was in lane, he was looking at what ability has been taken, then you walk forward and you know like you're still like full HP with like while a big portion of the ability has been used by the enemy team. Here, this is a window where you can actually like step forward because you arrive after the storm and you're like one of the strongest character in the team fight. So that's what Lakenator does, and the team fight goes very well. Also, we can see that the Gideon at 25 minutes, yeah, Gideon is absolutely insane, but still, at later stage on the game, if you didn't have like any defensive option, you start to disappear very quickly when you use your ultimate because you don't move, and so it's a very, very easy target to shot. And for carries, that's a lot of damage. And that's exactly what happened, which forced the epoch quite fast, and then we get the kill. So now that we have the R Prime, we're probably going to look at securing the Primal Fangtooth. As we can see, it's going to respawn pretty soon. That's why like Lakenator take like this like advanced positioning, but it doesn't want to get picked up either. So we want to keep like control of the vision. We don't want anyone to come into that river. This river is for the Dawn team, but we don't want to take the risk of actually like getting picked up as well. So that's why like you can see that he wasn't like really stepping in the mid lane until we get like the Quang being around. Here we see a little opportunity to be aggressive because we're protected by that wall on the left, and so we try to dash forward and get like 1 auto attack, and you can see like that's a lot of damage with the R Prime plus like this like first shot damage that we were talking about with the Stormbreaker, Sky Splitter, Lightning Oak. And here we're looking at probably like sieging that tier 2 tower. Primal Fangtooth is up, so there is like multiple options. We can try like to push this tier 2 tower, we can go for the Primal. I feel like the Quang was interesting to go for the Primal Fangtooth, but the rest of the team decided that they want to secure this tier 2 tower in mid. And here once again, like no need to go too fast, and here we're gonna dash forward, try to be aggressive on that Vegma. We kinda miss most of the things, and we're gonna get like the Muriel ultimate, but then we're gonna like turn the fight around because from the disengage we're gonna secure like 3 kills. So a little bit ballsy, but to be fair, if Lakenator doesn't miss his initial shot on the Fangmo, like there is probably like very few risk, but also understanding that he's super strong, and then he doesn't stay in the fight, like he goes on full on disengage, then that kind of bait like the whole enemy team, and now we can actually like force something. So it's a little bit like kind of goofy what we've seen, that aggression, but in a sense the enemy team wasn't expecting it, and that's what opened up the whole situation. So you have to be careful to stay alive, of course, but also like you have to take your chances when you can, and sometimes going for full limit testing is also good to kind of step up, and that's exactly what Lakenator has done, securing the W for his team as a carry engage initiation.